Let's talk to God. One more thing, like, subscribe, and share. Come on, let's talk to God. Woo!
Hey, good evening, everybody. It's Cutler here on the Let's Talk to Cutler broadcast. It is the 26th of October, and the month is moving right along. It'll be November in a few days, and I'm wondering, what are you all planning to do for Thanksgiving? Are you ready for the holidays? What's going on? I know I'm up here. I usually don't have on a cap, but I told you all it's the week after homecoming at my undergraduate alma mater. I just love Howard University. So this is just my homage to Howard this week. It is. You won't catch me in a cap often. But I want to talk about how to handle toxic people because the holidays are coming up. And just in case you're stopping by for the first time, you're wondering, what is that guy talking about? Toxic people, come on, that just sounds negative and I don't want to deal with negativity. Well, no, you don't have to deal with negativity because this channel is not about negativity. It is about inspiration. It is about motivation. It is about challenging ourselves to show up better today than we did yesterday, making sure that we're deliberate about trying to show up better tomorrow than we did today. But it doesn't mean that today or yesterday was a failure or flop. It just means that we're deliberate and we are intentional about showing up our best selves, even in the worst of situations. So if you're stopping by for the first time, just come on, do me a favor and subscribe to this channel, to this virtual book club, to the Let's Talk to Cutler time of sharing. And once you subscribe, then click on the notification bell. It may be down there somewhere, it may be up there, maybe over there or over there, but it lets you know whenever I've gone live, like I am now, or whenever I've uploaded new content. I'm here 1800 seconds every Tuesday and Thursday live. Every Tuesday and Thursday, hoping to offer a dialogue and an exchange that is mutually beneficial. I'm going to shout out the LTTC VIPs in just a moment. But as I get ready for that, again, I want to say thank you to those of you who have been with me for quite a while. It is refreshing and it is uplifting. It is motivating and it is encouraging to share this time together with someone and people who allow me to come into your space. You make the choice to allow me to come into your space. I don't take that for granted. So may I say thank you. I don't come here as an expert, as a therapist or a counselor. I just simply come here as someone who has lived and someone who has over the years gathered some experience and I hope some wisdom that I can share, and we can just exchange and we can have a dialogue about it. We can converse and we can just chit chat about it. I'm thankful for all things and all people who are a part of my life. So let me just shout out the LTTC VIPs and then I'll get into the conversation. Now, the LTTC VIPs, I see some of you are on, but you're not in the chat just yet. So come on over in the chat, or at least say hi in the chat so that I can see that you're here. I won't necessarily try to put you on the spot and make you say anything, but it gives me an opportunity to at least say hello to you and know that you are here. Now, the top 3 people that I see in the chat from my end, you all, this is from my end, so don't get upset with me. They are Sylvia Clemens. Hello to you, my friend. Annie Cutler. Hello to you. Paula D. Hello to you. And a special shout out to your mom. All right. Listen, again, I see you all in the chat. Come on over and say hi. I want to see my friends. I want to know that you're here. And I want to talk this evening about how to handle toxic people. The last time we were here, we had a conversation about how to ignore people. And that is one way to handle toxic people. But what I realized, you all, is that the holidays are coming up. The holidays are coming up. It will be a time for perhaps for social gatherings and family gatherings and gatherings in the workplace, gatherings and civic settings or what have you. And as these gatherings are coming upon us, there's an opportunity for us to hello. I'm just going to say hello to everybody as you're coming in because I asked you all to come in so I could see you. So I shouted out Sylvia and Annie and Paula. Hello to Sonia and Hattie. Hello to you all. Come in. And tell people, come on and let's talk the color, because we're going to talk really, you all. We're going to talk about how to handle toxic people. Again, the holidays are coming up, and we talked about how to ignore people before, but how to ignore people without being rude. That was the focus, because how can you talk about how to ignore people? That just doesn't sound nice. It doesn't sound inspirational. It doesn't sound motivational, but it sounds challenging. It sounds challenging to be able to ignore people without being rude to them, because sometimes people could be caustic and crass and all of that, and curt, and they call themselves ignoring people, but you're just as nasty to them as they were to you. And that was not the thrust of our conversation. The thrust of our conversation was how to ignore people without being nasty or rude to them. And I specifically want to talk this evening about how to handle nasty people, how to handle toxic people, because the holidays are coming up and you're going to find yourself surrounded or around people. And sometimes people are not always careful. I wanted to say aware, but sometimes people are aware of the impact of their words, and they are aware of the impact of their behavior, but they don't care. So I want to talk about how people are not always concerned about the impact of their behavior on people. But I want to remind you that you are in charge of your environment. You are in charge of your settings. You are in charge of your surroundings. You are in charge of your space. Let that be one of the takeaways this evening. You are in charge of your space. So when people start coming into your space, or when there's a space where other people come into and they surround you, and they not necessarily invade your territory, but they come into an area where you are, you get to decide how you want to handle that. You get to decide how you want to handle that. These events and gatherings are coming up. You get to decide whether you want to go, if you want to go, how you need to handle yourself around people. Because what I know is that trying to handle nasty people, we'll call them toxic, because toxic seems to be the gauche word. It seems to be the PR word for the day. But when I was growing up, we would just call them downright nasty people, nasty folk with nasty attitude, bitter people. But we'll go with the word toxic, because toxic doesn't make them sound as bad, but they are just as bad. Or that behavior, rather, not the person, but that behavior is just as bad. And dealing with a toxic person, it can be mentally, emotionally, and physically draining. So one of the things that I want to prepare us for as the holidays are coming up, and as we're getting ready to surround ourselves with these people at these events, is to make sure that you are aware of how you protect your boundaries, how you protect your space, how you protect your mindset and your peace of mind. Because how many of us know that one person, we don't need to pinpoint anybody, color, don't do that, but how many of us know people who can leave you feeling worse off for having interacted with them? Every time you turn around, every time you interact with them, you feel worse for having been in their space, or for them having been in your space. Maybe it's somebody who's manipulative. Maybe it's somebody who complains all the time. Maybe somebody who sees themselves as they always self-important, they're self-aggrandizing. But whatever the case may be, there's always an individual or individuals who make you feel worse for having been in their space. Y'all don't have to put it in the chat, because people may see this. Don't call anybody's names. But how many of us know people like that? Every single time you've been in their space, you feel worse, or at least the majority of the time you've been in their space, you feel worse for having been around them, for having interacted with them. Well, by now you all, the failure, we used to sing a song, the failure is not in God, it's in me. The failure is not in them, it is in us for always allowing ourselves to be in that space. Learn how to pinpoint problematic behaviors that you see in people, and know what doesn't jive with you, what doesn't connect with you. The people that the word that the young people use these days, a vibe. Know what doesn't vibe with you. What's not a vibe. And so I want to offer some helpful hints and just things that I've discovered in my life, things that may be helpful as we're getting ready for the holidays, as we're getting ready to hang around family members for these holiday parties and these social gatherings in the workplace, in the home place, wherever that may be. One of the things that you have to do when it comes to toxic people who are nasty, is stop playing into their reality. A lot of times people will see themselves as victims. Whatever is going on, they are the victim of something. And then as they see themselves as the victim, that means they're shifting the blame. They're never the cause of a problem. They're never the catalyst behind a situation. They're never the impetus behind something that's going on. Everybody else seems to be the problem, and they start shifting the blame. And when they start talking, this is what we do sometimes. We go, stop that. Stop that. That's one of the things I want to say to us this evening. Just stop that. Don't play into other people's realities when you know it's not true. When they're shifting the blame on other people and not being accountable or responsible, stop smiling and nodding. Color, don't fuss at the people. I'm not fussing you all. I have found this to be helpful. I have to remind myself when people are shifting the blame, I need to make sure that I stop smiling and stop nodding. So I may have to grab my head like this. Because sometimes your smiling and your nodding is you're agreeing with them. And that is not what you want to do. You know they're wrong. You know they're shifting the blame. And sometimes if you're not careful, they're going to shift the blame on you. And you have to smile and nod, talk about, yeah, nigga, wait, me? No. What we need to do is call a thing, you all. Stop playing into their reality and say, you know what? That's not necessarily how I saw it. And you don't have to go into a dissertation. You don't have to go into a long, drawn-out conversation. Just simply say, that's not how I saw it. That's not how I see it. And you can walk away. But stop playing into people's reality. Stop smiling and nodding and agreeing with everything that everybody says when you know it's not true. These are toxic people. And they end up talking. And if they come to you talking about somebody else, they go to somebody else talking about, y'all, come on, y'all know this to be true. They come to you talking about somebody else. They'll go to somebody else talking about you. Stop smiling and nodding. That's how you handle them. That's how you handle toxic people. The holidays are coming up, y'all. So just get yourself ready so that you can enjoy these weeks, days, and months. Gird yourself up and say, you know what? Now I'm not dealing with the toxicity these next few weeks and over the holidays. What am I saying? Don't get pulled into that. Yeah, don't play into their reality, and don't get pulled into that. Resist it, and for goodness sakes, resist the urge to jump on the bandwagon and complain with them. This is how we handle toxic people. The holidays are coming up. Enjoy yourself. You want to smile and laugh and enjoy the holidays and your time around family, your time around friends. Angela, I love you. You want to enjoy your time around family, your time around friends. Don't get caught up into the toxic trap of other people. Stop going into their reality. Don't get pulled into their reality. Smiling and nodding when you know they're lying and being deceitful and shifting the blame. Don't get caught into that, and don't get drawn into their attitude and their perspective on life and their perspectives on things. You're here to have a good time. I'm just trying to tell us how to get ready for the holidays, because can y'all tell I'm looking forward to the holidays? I'm trying to tell us how to get ready for the holidays and make sure that you enjoy yourself. Don't get drawn into people's complaining, and don't hop on that bandwagon with them. Just don't do it. Just resist the urge to hop this next few months. Resist the urge to hop on that complaining bandwagon with people. Just let that train go right on and leave the station without you. Color, what do I do? I mean, they're talking to me. What do I say? You can just say to them, you know what? I am so sorry you feel that way. I'm so sorry that's your reality. And then you just keep right on going. Move along. I'm telling you, this is how I offer us the fortitude, the wherewithal. That's what I come with my offering this evening, the fortitude and the wherewithal to handle toxic people. One is you don't get drawn in. Don't hop on the bandwagon with them, and don't make sure that you don't play into their reality. Because when you're around them, what else, Cutler? When you're around them, make sure that you understand, pay attention to how these people make you feel. You're trying to have a good time. You want to have a good time. You don't want people draining your energy. Make sure that you are aware of how people make you feel. Because sometimes somebody else's toxic behavior can affect you. And what you realize is that before you realize it, you've just been pulled down into this negative space. It pulls you down into this negative space. And people listen, and I get it. From time to time, people will occasionally say things that they don't mean, that they don't intend. But how about the people who are always saying stuff? They're always rude. They're always hurtful. They're always in a bad mood. They're always lashing out against something. Come on, y'all. We know people like that. Time to do an inventory check on the people in our lives, because we know people like that. Pay attention to how people make you feel, and then do they apologize for how they make you feel? Or do they even notice it at all? Y'all hang on to what I'm about to say, because y'all know I'm from the country. I'm from the South. I grew up in the South, so y'all hear me saying y'all all the time. But please hear me when I say this. We so very often make excuses for people from time to time because they may make us feel a certain way, and we excuse the bad behavior. Can I say this to you? Personal struggles don't excuse abuse. Your personal struggle and the fact that you're going through something does not excuse you for abusing me. You don't get to have a bad situation in your life and abuse me, and it's okay. It is not okay. Personal struggles do not excuse abuse. You don't have to accept it. We give people excuses. Oh, that's just the way they are. Oh, we should be used to them by now. No. People don't get to abuse you, and it is okay. Do I sound like y'all? Please tell me. I don't want to sound like I'm fussing. I only have 1,800 seconds, but I'm trying to empower us to get ready for the holidays. That's really what I want. I'm looking forward to the holidays. I want you to look forward to the holidays. And I think what's happening, you're getting the brunt of my emotions. I'm trying to come against people who will bring the negativity into your lives and into your space. And I'm trying to charge you so that you're ready for it. Because you are worth having a non-toxic life. You're worth having a non-toxic next few weeks and months of holidays. You're worth it. And sometimes you just have to find the wherewithal to tell people about their behavior. People who are gossiping all the time, people who are manipulating people who are creating drama and dramatic situations all the time. Sometimes you just have to tell them. What am I saying? I'm saying make sure that you put yourself first. That's all I want you to do. People's behavior does not have to be abusive or spiteful. And you don't have to take it. Put yourself first and say, this is how I want to be treated. This is how I expect to feel over the holidays. This is what I want. I want to enjoy my time. I want to enjoy my days. I want to enjoy my weeks. I want to enjoy my months. I want to enjoy my time around family. Put yourself first. Put yourself first. That's one of the things that we need to do. That's how you handle toxic people. Remember to put yourself first. And not only that, a lot of times we want to be fixers. Let's stop trying to fix people. Let's stop trying to fix people. Sometimes just offer them compassion, but don't try to fix them. They're toxic and you know it. People can change. People can change, but they have to be willing to do the work. Don't you try to fix everybody. Offer compassion. Keep right on going. And again, you don't have to necessarily write them completely out of your life, but you can learn how to deal with them. You can learn how to ignore them when it leads to your senility and your sanity and your peace of mind. Color, what else do you have to offer? Learn how to say no. You're dealing with nasty people. You're dealing with mean people. You're dealing with toxic people. Learn how to say no and mean it and walk away. Sometimes we have a hard time turning people down, don't we? How many of us can attest to the fact that we sometimes have a hard time turning people down? And sometimes sticking to your guts and sticking to your refusal and sticking to your resolve, it can be hard. especially when you're dealing with people who sometimes try to take you on a guilt trip. Yeah, don't let people do that. If you decide to say no and mean it and don't back down. It may be a little challenging, especially when people give you these dramatic. Thank you, Sylvia. You're not the only one, my friend. I'm the same way. But saying no to people, sometimes saying no to people, it can be challenging when you say no and you want to stick to it. Hattie, I'm with you. Same here. If you decide to say no, I'm telling you all, don't back down. And again, it may be challenging, but I'm talking about how to deal with dramatic people, how to deal with toxic people. It may be challenging, particularly when they're going to be dramatic and give you these dramatic outbursts and they try to get their way and they want to be manipulative. But the more you practice saying no, the easier it becomes. Learn how to say no to the things that you're not comfortable with. Stop smiling and nodding and open your mouth and say no. If you're not comfortable with it, you don't have to have a long, drawn-out conversation. Simply say no. I'm not comfortable with that. Well, why not? You don't owe people a why. Learn how to remove yourself from the situation. Because sometimes removing yourself from the situation means that you will get a chance to remove yourself from the drama. Say no, mean it, and walk away. And if you can't physically leave, make it clear that you're no longer involved in the discussion, that you're no longer involved in the scenario, you're no longer involved in the circumstance or the situation. I can't be a part of that. I'm sorry. No, I don't see it like that. No, thank you. And sometimes people's toxic behavior will make you feel like you did something wrong, even when you know you didn't do anything wrong. Toxic people's behavior will do that. You start looking around saying, well, what? Maybe I did something wrong. What did I do? Even you know in your heart of hearts you did nothing wrong. I'm talking about how toxic people will make you feel. I'm just trying to offer us some insight. How many of you all are looking forward to the holidays? I got to get ready to get out of here. But how many of you all are looking forward to the holidays and you would love to have holidays without the drama? You would love to have holidays without the manipulation. You would love to have holidays without wondering, Lord, how do I have to navigate these people? How am I going to feel around them? Do I want to go to this because this person? Do I want to go to this event because that person's going to go there? Do I want to go to this particular dinner because this person? No. I want to talk about now getting ready for all of that, being prepared to handle toxic people and toxic situations. And you have to remember that when toxic people make you feel like you've done something wrong, you have to say, you know what? I didn't do anything wrong. There's nothing going on here that's my fault. It's tough to face attacks from people who behave in toxic manners. Because a lot of times there is no substance, there's no validity to the attacks that are coming from them. So you have to learn how to take deep breaths and calm yourself and be mindful and acknowledge what their words are saying and how their words make you feel so that you can go ahead and you can move on without being affected so it can roll off your back like water on a duck. And sometimes, I'm talking about all these gatherings, but sometimes you might have to make yourself unavailable. Because there are some toxic people who really realize individuals over whom they have a stronghold. They know who they can manipulate. They know who they can control. They know how some of their jabs affect people. And sometimes they move in when they pray. Yeah. They're sometimes like predators. But I offer us the courage and the tenacity and the fortitude and the wherewithal to stand up and say, no, I am not going through these holidays being affected by toxic people. Absolutely not. I'm going to remember this conversation that we had with Cutler on the 26th of October. And if I don't remember it, I'm going to go back and catch the replay, because there's something in there that spoke to me about I am worth a non-toxic situation. And indeed you are. Sometimes you have to learn how to make yourself available. Sometimes you have to limit the time that you spend with people like that. If you dread seeing people, if you feel anxious or you're stressed about seeing people, why in the world put yourself in that situation? Limit your time, cut your time. Listen, take your feelings into consideration. Take your feelings as a sign that you may want to see less of these people. People who are going to show up and be nasty, people who are going to show up and be toxic, people who are going to show up and be manipulative, people who are going to show up and be crass, people who are going to show up and be caustic, people who are going to show up and be curt. Think about it. You may want to limit your time. And if you just happen to be in a space, happen to be in a setting, happen to be so connected to mutual people, and you can't necessarily avoid them, learn how to set boundaries and barriers. When they're on one side of the room, you go to the other side. When you're talking to someone and they walk up and start talking to that person, you say, "Hi, all right, take care, I'll see you later." And you just move on and start having a conversation with somebody else. These are strategies. These are helpful hints and things that we need to learn. Have an exit strategy. That's what I'm saying. Make sure that when you go into a situation, and also I know sometimes we some of us can't avoid these things, because sometimes, and I just need to say this, sometimes the toxic people are family members, and you end up in the same space in the same setting, and you can't help I can't help but be around them, because now I have to be in the same space, I have to be in the same setting. But what you can do, you can limit your time in that space. You can make sure that you always have an exit strategy. Because if you're stuck in a toxic environment or a toxic surrounding or a space where there's a toxic person, and you necessarily don't see a way out, in your mind now you're thinking, okay, is it going to look rude if I leave? So you can have an exit strategy. And it's possible, it's quite possible, it's very possible to exit politely. So just make sure that you have an exit strategy. I'm just trying to offer us some solution and some help. Change your routine. If your routine is that you hang around there, that you're there and y'all have game night, and game night is going to cause some emotions, some stress, and some people are really going to take it seriously, because that won't be a game night, it'll be a life night, and they're fighting about life, and they're fighting about life, and you're playing a game. Learn how not to get caught up into their reality. Learn how to maintain your calm. Learn how to stay grounded. Learn how to breathe in situations like that. Learn how to try to relax your muscles in times like that. Learn how to let your words counteract their behavior. I want us to have a great holiday. Bottom line is this: you are so very worth a non-toxic holiday, a non-toxic gathering. So make sure that you take control of your space. Take control of your surroundings. And there is nothing offensive about maintaining your peace. Again, say as I often say, I'm building a foundation. I'm building a house of peace, and everybody's brick doesn't fit my foundation. Everybody's brick does not build the house, does not fit what I'm trying to build. And so I don't owe it to anybody to have to sit in a toxic space, but I owe it to myself I owe it to myself to guard my peace of mind. That's all I'm saying. How to handle toxic people in toxic situations. Remind yourself, I owe it to myself to guard my peace of mind. Thank you all. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Thank you for allowing me to come into your home or your living room, or if you're out walking, doing whatever you do. Again, I'm in Howard University celebration mode for homecoming. It's my undergraduate alma mater. So that's why y'all see me with this hat on that I don't typically have on when we're chatting. But prepare yourselves for a wonderful set of holidays that are coming up. I know I am. I'm so, as the young folks say, I'm so hyped. I'm so ready for it. I hope you all are as well. Thank you for spending this time with me. Let's do what we do, y'all. Let's keep building community. Let's keep maintaining connectivity. Stay safe, stay sane, and keep your heads up, keep your hopes up, and know that from my heart to yours, there is and always will be so much love. And until the next time we talk, do me a favor, tell somebody else to come on. Let's talk to color. The man is just talking about practical things, and he's trying to help save somebody's life. Take care until the next time I see you. I'll see you. Good night.